Okay. Um, all right, I think everyone can see my screen. So, can everyone see my screen? Can you let me know in the chat box if you can, please?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you. Veronica, the passing score is 50. I put it at 50, but usually I'd expect that corrections are made when I look back on your design file. So if I look back and comments that I made have been fixed, then I move it to 100. That's how I did it, so that everyone can progress through the course and still make corrections and still be able to make corrections. Okay, so let me do the corrections first of all, and then I'll move over to questions later. Probably be sharing some people's files. I don't know how that would look like, but let's just do this first. So first of all, as we all can see, the text isn't looking good. And sorry, my chat box is obstructing. And if I select this and I look right over to the right panel in the text settings area, this whole text is selected, by the way. I found out that a lot of people didn't know how to select text to edit. So if you click once, you can only be able to move the bounding box in this way. This is what you would have used to fix the rags. But then if you want to actually edit the text inside the bounding box, you have to double click. And if you double click, it's going to select the entire thing. So if I click on a backspace, it's going to take it out because everything is selected. But if you want to select a single word, you have to keep on double clicking until that word is selected. And once it's selected this way, you just do a single click and you can then use your arrow key to move around, or your mouse even, as the case may be. So if you take a look to this paragraph that's been selected and you look over to the right, text settings on the text rather. Sorry, give me a minute. You can see right here in the letter spacing that it is mixed. So kerning, to fix the kerning of a paragraph or any word or whatever it is, as long as it's text or copy, as we call it in design, you need to work with your letter spacing. It's not called kerning here. It's called letter spacing, and it's mixed because there are various letter spacing going on. There's a lot of kerning going on. This one has this guy here, the typeset has different letter spacing, anomalies has a different one, distribution has a different one, and because of that, everything was boxed into mixed. So to fix this, I just need to click to select mixed. I hope everyone can still see my screen. So once I select mixed, I can just put in whatever value I want. So if I put in 20, for example, all the words inside the text will have the same spacing. Okay, I saw a lot of people do this as well. They put too much kerning in the paragraph there was a lot of space between the characters in the text. So I'm just going to take this down and bring it back to 0. So it's always good to start at 0. Some typefaces or some fonts won't look good at 0. That they'd still have a bit of space. They won't be so much noticeable um, to your users or to whoever will be reading, but you as a designer will know that, hey, I probably need to correct this. So I'll put that back to 0, and everything looks uniform now, if you can see. I'm going to do the same thing to the second paragraph. It's mixed as well. So I take it back to 0. And the next thing we're going to fix is the alignment, okay? So I noticed that a lot of people were leaving some indentation in front here, in front of traditionally, and they added one in front of choice as well. I get the idea behind that. I mean, there are books that usually do have that sort of setting, but it kind of looks weird because you have your title here and you have some space here that should be closed. If the title was, say, in the middle, if this was a book and the title was in the middle, okay, I haven't fixed ragging yet. Okay, I guess we should do that first so it won't look so off. Okay. Okay, so let's fix the ragging first. So notice the wrong spaces. If you went through the rag, the widows often rags content, you'd know that this is a bad ragging. It's not good for reading at all. You won't open a book and see where where a paragraph was written like this and all over the place. No. For this one, I purposely put in this space here, and I'm glad to see that a lot of people took that out. In fact, a lot of you did well after my correction, so I'm really glad that happened. So to take out all that, I'm going to select the text this way, and you want to make sure that your cursor is blinking so that you're taking out individual characters or spaces. So I'm going to take out the ones that are here. I'm going to take out this one, take it back so it enters the next line. I'm going to take this back so it enters the next line. Yeah, awareness. Some people were leaving this hyphen here, which isn't a good look. So that was purposely added by me. And so it kind of looks, not it kind of looks, it looks much better now because everything is more collected. And this is a widow and the transparency here. So to take that out, you just need to click on the body of text once to make sure there's a bounding box around it. And you can now edit. Usually when there's a bounding box around anything, you'll be able to drag. Let me use this little graphic design here. So because of the bounding box, I can do this. And I can turn it as well. Okay. So that's basically what that does. So I get my bounding box around this and I can drag this to take out the widow. So it looks more better now. If I continue dragging, I'm going to get another widow, as you can see. So transparency is all alone here and joins it, and I don't want that. I continue moving it forward until clarity and transparency, and that's that on that. So if, let me take out this, just I want to explain something. So let's say we had some sort of indentation here, right? Just as a paragraph would. It might not really look off to you, but some might find it weird. Personally, I find it weird. I don't think I see a lot of places where there's a title and then there's an indentation on the paragraph. If there'll be an indentation, probably this will be out and it won't have to clash with the alignment of the title because they're all right aligned right now. If you want it, oh, wow, okay, sorry. If you wanted to do that, you probably would need to move this to the middle. It's still not in the middle of this, so let me do. Yeah, so this will probably be a better way to look at it because the title has now moved to the middle, and your eye will now be forced to move to the next line and register the space before reading on. Okay. So that's that on that. Alignment is to the left, to the left. Okay, same thing, sorry. Same thing with the second paragraph. I noticed a lot of people left out the space, left out fixing this kerning as well. So they got kerning on all other areas, and I kept pointing out that the kerning on part isn't fixed. I really don't know why it wasn't easy to notice that, but let's just fix that as well. So notice that it also says mixed down here. So I'm just going to click on that, make that 0, and that's fixed. So let's fix the rag here as well. Fiction, writing. Take out the space. So let me see if this will fit in. No, it didn't. Okay, so I just have to drag this until it's much more better. Right, and I also noticed that you were changing fonts, which is good, but it started clashing on some designs because they changed the first font on this one and forget to change this one, and everything just had different fonts and it wasn't looking all right at all. So next thing we're going to do is improve the hierarchy. Okay, I already did this one. So once one is reading, they should be able to say, okay, this one has a higher level than the next one. Same thing, I think I saw same thing regarding the simple profile card as well. Your name had to have a higher hierarchy, and then your track had to have a lower hierarchy than your name. So what I did to this was just to make it semi-bold, but you can choose to add hierarchy however you want it to be. You can make this 40. Sorry, you can also probably change the color to something different, just to make sure it stands out. Okay, so I'm just going to make this bold using the text settings over here. Probably make that extra bold. And yeah, so just like that, you've added hierarchy because it's now much more pronounced. Okay, so right now I'll take comments regarding the assignment. If anyone has any questions regarding the assignment, I'll take it now.
Yeah, I have a question, Charles. Regarding the last line of part 1, I didn't understand why and transparency was a widow and clarity and transparency is not a widow. Can you please explain the difference?
Well, it's if you went through the what's it called, the content that I posted. So usually two words that are alone. I know sometimes it might look good, and actually some print materials still have it that way. It's not as much as a taboo as having one word, right? But because the assignment came from the content, I wanted to see everything in the content represented. So that's why I chose to make sure that two words remain rags, right? But moving forward, as you become better in your design, you probably need to test these things to know how your users react to them.
Okay, so just to clarify if I understood, if it's more than 2 words, then it's not considered a widow.
Yes,
right?
it's more than 2 words, it's not considered a widow.
Okay, thank you.
Let me see. I don't know if there are questions in the comment section. Let's see.
Well, hello, Charles. I did have a question, if that's okay.
Okay, go on.
Yes, I use the X and Y feature that's on that right panel. I don't know exactly what you call that. But could we use that as well to help, or was that just something that was excessive? I used that to align
Fix
everything in the same for aligning it.
for aligning. So, okay. Well, personally, I don't use it a lot. In fact, I rarely look at the X and Y thing. But if you want to align, okay, if you want to align, what you use are these guys at the top here. If you guys can see where my mouse is, sorry. So just right at the top here. You probably won't be using the X and Y if you're doing UI design, when you're designing for screens or for mobile screens. I personally haven't had a need to use them so much. I use these guys at the very top, the alignment settings at the very top. So if say you wanted to have, but please take note, this would not change the what's it called, the alignment of the text itself. So this that I've selected would not change. Okay, so the alignment at the top here is used to align elements, not the inner elements. So if I wanted to align this to the middle, it's selected, I have my bounding box around it. I'd go back to text settings right here and click on this. So this is to left align it, this is to center align, and this is to right align. So if I clicked on the right align setting, it moves it over to the right, like you probably have in Arabic text, for example. And if I clicked on center align, it positions it in the center. So let me show you what the ones at the top does. Let me move that back to left align and move this away. Okay. So this is away and okay, let me move this way. Okay. So it's all aligned wrong. It's all weird right now. So if I want to align this much more properly, I'd select everything, or you would select everything. So it's all selected now, and I can now make use of these little guys at the very top. So this is to left align everything that have been selected. So you see what happens if I decide to right align it, everything moves over to the right. The text itself, this text itself, it's still left aligned here, as you can see. So the align buttons at the top here are used to align elements. And the ones that you have in the text settings are used to align the text itself, the inner element of the text. If I use the align for these ones as well, it's going to mess this up, but let's do it so you can see what I mean. So I'm going to use this to left align everything. So if you notice, almost everything, or everything rather, is touching the left edge of the design. I don't know why this guy isn't touching. Okay. So the bounding box is usually what will be touching the left edge or the right edge, as the case may be, in whatever way you aligned. If I say middle align, so that's what the align does. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does. That's a much better strategy than what I did. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm glad. Okay, I guess that's it for the typo corrections.
Charles, I have one question, or I guess comment.
For who?
I have a question about the hierarchy.
Okay.
So I see now that that's the one thing that I missed as far as I made sure they look differently, but I wouldn't have thought to make part 2 smaller than part 1, I guess, or look completely different than part 1. I would probably apply hierarchy more if that were a title, and then you have like part one and part two. So it's kind of, I don't know, just something that I don't know if I would use for this. I don't know. It doesn't look good to me, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Okay, you mean the way it is right now?
Yes. So
Yeah,
because,
I was, sorry.
well, I'm saying, so you have part one, and it's in a different color and a different, it's larger than the text. But then part two is, yes, like in a, smaller and in a black color, I guess.
Yeah, the reason I did that, I said earlier, I was just taking various examples and showing various ways you could make, you could add hierarchy, but I'd expect, or if you're designing actually, you would want to make both of them look the same. This is 32 extra bold. So 32 extra bold, and I think that's 01 black. Okay, so I think they look similar now. Also, let me give this tip. So when you're designing for text or you're adding text to your designs, it's usually better because using black it has a lot of contrast, and it usually will be sharp on your user's eyes, on their vision when they're reading anything on your design. So it's always advisable to use another shade of black. So what I usually use is, I think it's called, I can't remember what it's called. It has this weird name. Let me see if I can search it. Okay, yeah. Okay, can you guys see my screen? Can you see this? So this is a much more, how would I say, a much more pleasing color, a much more pleasing black color to use for text, as opposed to using plain black as it is. But, I didn't expect that. It's just a tip that we have in design. Okay, so I think I saw some comments. Let me see. All right, so I think that's basically all, right? Yeah. So these are some of the ones that I received. You can see hierarchy isn't looking the same on both texts. I pointed that out. This one had everything working, but there was no hierarchy. And yes, please always remember to give access to your files moving forward. Okay, so it's up here, you click on share, and this one is currently set to only people invited. So yeah. Okay, so this one is set to anyone with the link can view. So that's that on that. So we'll move over to, I'm just going to go over the content that we have this week, just very quickly. If anyone still has any questions, please, I'll be glad to take them. So for this week, so basically, you guys will be doing some interviews. This is actually the real process to understanding your users, and I wanted you guys to experience some of that during the course of this training. But for this week, you'd only be going through the empathy stage and the define stage because of time, and I didn't want to rush you all through it. But some people have, I don't know, I think they're on a speedboat or something, and yeah. So for the empathy stage, you'd be planning your research. You would interview and observe users, carry out user surveys, body storm, and document your findings. there's already, if you go through the slide, you would most likely have an idea of what to do, a good idea, but I'm always here to answer questions, of course. There's already an interview script that you can use to ask questions about the task that you have or the problem that you're trying to solve, which is donating old or used clothes. So once you're done with that, you're going to move into the define stage to create an empathy map and figure out pain points, figure out reasons why people might not be donating old clothes, or reasons why they stopped, or reasons why they don't want to. So these are some of the things you will be finding out. And in the course of interviewing your participants or your potential users, you should not be afraid to build questions on on previous questions. Okay. So you shouldn't be scared to ask preceding questions that come off from previous questions that you've asked. You need to understand as much as possible about your user. So once you're done with that, you move over to Mirror. So I don't know if you guys have set up your Mirror account, but that will come up later. Should it come up later? No, I think, let me see. I think that instruction was in the second task. Let's see. Okay, this is the interview script. I think, yeah, I think it was in the design task 3. Let's see. Yeah, so you set up a Mirror account. It's quite easy to use, but I probably would do a quick short video showing you around. You'd have sticky notes on there, you have lines, and you can do text as well. So you're going to take everything you learned from your interview and kind of put it on sticky notes and fix it to each of the participants that you interviewed. And once you're done, you just need to screenshot and put that in your Google slide. Okay, you're not sharing a link to your Mirror canvas or your Mirror file. You're sharing a Google slide link with pictures from your Mirror canvas, with screenshots from your Mirror canvas. I hope that makes sense. I hope you guys understood that. Okay, for people who, okay, someone says, hi, Charles, I wasn't able to go through the slides. The forward arrow didn't work for me, nor could I enlarge the screen. I just happened to know the answer to the question. Okay, after this call, right after this call, I'll share the direct link to the slides. That would most definitely work so that people do not have this issue. The LMS is like really, it has some sort of, I don't know, mind of its own sometimes. So I'll share the link to the Google Slides, all of them, after the call. Okay, so yeah, that's all we'll be doing for the week: interviewing and documenting, and putting your Mirror board together with the findings that you have. Okay, I'm always here to answer questions, of course. So if you have anyone at this point, I'll take it just before we end the class. Okay, I guess there are no questions. Okay, Betty, can I hear you? You can speak, Betty.
Charles, for the interview part, do any of the interview have to be online, or can all 5 of the people be in person?
All 5 can be in person. I stated at least 2 of them, but if you have all 5, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think, Ken says, I don't think I have all the courses that showed up on your screen. Oh, no, you don't need to have all of them. It's because I'm an instructor, you know, I have lots of courses showing up because I have to look at some of them as well. So if you have the design courses, it's fine. If you don't have the design courses, please look, always first look in the course catalog. So once it's posted, some people always come to say that they can't find it on their dashboard, but please look in the course catalog, it might be there, okay? What are your thoughts on, some UX entry level roles requiring multiple years of experience? Oh, man, it's always back to HR not knowing their jobs, because if you're seeking an entry level candidate, it should be 0 years. So I'd say they really are not looking for entry level. So probably just look elsewhere for people who do not require any year of experience. So yeah. Okay, I guess that'll be all for tonight. If there are no more questions. So thank you guys for coming. Let me even see how many people do I have? 16. How many indicated? Oh man, how many people indicated interest for this? Let me check. So I have 23 registered users and I have 16 participants, 15 excluding me. So, but it's fine. I'm always there to go over this. Thank you guys for attending, and have a beautiful rest of your day or your night. I don't know what time it is there, but I'll see you all in class or on Slack. So bye-bye now.